Hello viewers, ForzaMotorsport here and welcome to this week's special event, which is Early Factory Race Car Series. And the car I chose was the Porsche. Now the reason I chose the Porsche was because after discount it was the cheapest. I think it was 246 or 247,000. Cannot be 100%, but it's definitely cheaper than the rest of them. So with these stats being pretty much the same as everybody else's, I thought why not, let's give the Porsche some love and give it a good old blast. As we do start roughly down the back end of the pack, we are in P15 position, get a poor start off the line. Not too sure what happened there really, it was like the gear didn't engage or something like that. But as we're going down towards our first corner, we've already lost 2 places. We are now in P17 position. Oh, going back to P15 because a couple of cars have gone off. I am trying to avoid any collision with the Ferrari in front. I don't want another excuse to get a silly little penalty. As we go around the second corner, going wide on the Ferrari, take up the inside line. The Ferrari does go into the side of me, but I do generally think that was a mistake because now they're giving me plenty of room. As they back off, I come back over to the left hand side, give myself a better entrance in the next corner. Third gear, about 90 miles per hour over the brow of the hill. Be mindful if you do send it over the brow of that hill, if you keep the throttle on quite high, it can unbalance the car when upon landing. So just be mindful of that as you go up the hill. Round this corner in 4th gear, as you're halfway around the corner, start accelerating and applying full throttle down this straight. As you can see, this lobby is quite dominated by Ferrari, so I do believe they might be a better choice of car. I'm not 100% sure, but we shall see. As we come around this corner now, we do have a McLaren in our rear view mirror, which is quite nice to see. Another Porsche went off track and rejoined. Luckily enough, we didn't have a incident with that car as they rejoined. Coming around here, going to try and make a move on full throttle in front and see if we can gain a position. Full throttle closes the door, so I am going to sneak up around the outside of this next corner as they brake for it, and I have the ultimate line. There we go, that's one position done. Now just got to try and overtake Games at 165588. Going a little bit wide in this corner, touching a little bit of grass, but ultimately sending it down here. As you can see, another car's going off track, going to go up the inside of Games and up the inside of the McLaren on my left hand side as well. That is 3 position gains in 2 corners, really. Absolute blast, braking hard down into 3rd gear, letting the car coast round. Just a little nudge on the brakes possibly as we come around this corner, but if you do take it right, you don't have to move the steering angle or nothing. It's one full swoop, which is absolutely beautiful. Coming around here, we're going to try and catch up to that Porsche in front as we do get a little bit wobbly coming out the exit of those 2 corners. Sending it down this back straight, looking out for the curb on the left hand side, braking down in 3rd gear, about 90 miles per hour, 95 up here, and accelerating out the other side. You can hear the engine on this car is very quiet, so you may see me bouncing on the limiter. It's hard to hear the engine sometimes, even though I do have headphones on. Sometimes you just don't realize it is such a quiet car. It's a dream to drive, surprisingly. I mean, it really does handle well. It does get a bit squirrely if you do play a bit naughty with it, but if you are gentle with the car is quite gentle with you back, and it's just quite a pleasant drive. As we come around these 2 corners, you can see the Porsche was held up by the McLaren, which is a good sign, so that means I'll have to overtake the McLaren and I can try and catch up to the Porsche. Hopefully I do not get, well, there we go, I don't get held up by the McLaren. I'll send it as soon as I saw him going off track, full throttle, just to get past them, braking hard. You can see a few cones everywhere, and accelerating up the hill. And you can see, this is what I mean, when you land back down, the car can be a little bit twitchy, due to the way the wheels are spinning, and sending it through here. We are gaining on our lap time, 0.53 seconds up, which is absolutely brilliant. Come around this corner, full throttle down this straight, 0.681 seconds up of my previous best. We're sending it around this track at 50 seconds, 0.303, which is brilliant. Braking a little bit late into this corner, going a little bit wide, but bringing it back in for the latter half of that corner, accelerating out the other side. You can see the Porsche went a little bit squirrely up in front, which is absolutely good news for us, because applying that pressure, making them make mistakes just like that, I can send it through the inside and overtake them and gain that position. We are now at podium position. 5 laps is all it took for us to go from P15 to P3. Absolutely brilliant. I'm going to send it round here, 3rd gear, coasting it round. There is another Porsche up in front, and down the hill we go. round this corner in 4th gear, rubbing that curb, accelerating out the other side. Could have gone a little bit faster through there, but I'd rather play it safe, as I have been seeing everybody else go off track. So I'd rather play it safe and make the time back through the braking and other corners that I feel a little bit more confident on, as I do go a little bit deep and a little bit wide there, missing my braking point ever so slightly. You do have to be mindful of missing braking points by a little bit, because you're carrying such a high speed. It does ultimately affect your cornering entry quite substantially. We're going to make a move on this Porsche as they went off the track a little bit, coming straight down here. Ultimately cut them off, and I do scrape their vehicle. That was a mistake by my part. I didn't realize actually how much I squeezed them, so luckily enough I didn't put them at a disadvantage. I just look like a bit of a Anyway though, we have P2 position. P2, man, absolutely brilliant. We're P2, but we are 6.5 seconds away from P1 right now, and I do understand a P3 behind me is a very, very good driver as well. So they are going to keep me on my toes as we come around this corner. You can see them catching up to me a little bit, but I'm ultimately getting away from them on the exit of that corner. Applying the power a little bit earlier as we come around here, and trying to keep as clean as possible and as accurate as possible to ultimately try and create a gap from the car behind. Breaking down the 3rd gear, coasting around here, up the curb and accelerating, out we go. Really sending it there and trying to keep the car under control. Back down the 3rd gear, over the curb we go. Really trying to maximize the track, but not maximize the speed. So I'm cutting the corners a little bit, hopefully gaining a 10th or 2 here or there. You see the Porsche behind me is 0.6 seconds away now. And problem is P1 is also getting away. They are very, very quick in that car. I'm not too sure what they are in, to be fair. I'll have to wait till the race results comes at the end. I just see it must be a Ferrari. It's red. That's my guess right there. It's red, so it's more than likely bound to be a Ferrari. Anyway, coming through here, you can see the Porsche is clawing back a little bit behind us, but ultimately we are now 0.7 seconds away, 0.8, as we have a much better exit out of that corner. Sending it through here, 100 miles per hour. It can be done, but here we go. Coming around the next corner, braking again down the 3rd gear, just missing that curb and accelerating out. And that's pretty much a good line right there. Coming around here, 4th gear, let the car go down, and as you're halfway around, start accelerating out the other side and sending it down the straight. Now down the straight, I brake a little bit earlier than everybody else. I start applying the brake pressure roughly about the 400 meter marker, and then gradually increase the braking pressure, and then start cornering in and reducing that as well. I don't know if it's costing me any more time, but the car does seem far more stable when I do it that way. I don't really like just hammering on that brake pedal. I do not have ABS turned on, so last thing I want is an excuse to lock up and just eat away at my braking distance. Anyway, coming around here, 3rd gear, over the curb we go, flat out over this bit. I wasn't full throttle, I was about 3/4 of the way up through there. Again, like I say, you got to be mindful of that lift. You don't want to be on full throttle too much, because you don't want the wheels to spin, and if they're spinning at different speeds, when it comes back down to land, your back end will be going everywhere. I'm going to send it into the pits now, halfway through that race, medium set of tyres, and we don't need fuel. Whilst we are in the pits and we're doing a few moments, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'd also like to thank our channel members, which is Andy Good and Jeffrey Anderson. Now we're exiting the pits with a fresh set of rubber on the tyres, only 9 laps to go. Let's see if we can hold on to P2 position. You can see P1 has a 2.25 second penalty. I wonder what that was for. P3 is 1.7 seconds away from us right now, so we just have to maintain that distance, if not increase it, whilst not sacrificing our lap times as well. By this I mean going off track by pushing the car too much, things like that. We're towards the latter half of the race now, where you can pretty much relax and calm down, just try and maintain the gap from the car behind. I don't think, unless the car goes off in front, I'll be able to catch up 7 seconds. So I don't really want to try either. In a quite a weird place right now, because I would love to be able to catch P1, but I don't think that I'll be able to push this car quick enough to be able to catch them up without maybe making a mistake or two. So I'd rather keep my P2 and ultimately have podium position than go off track trying to chase a dream that might not happen. As we're on a new lap now, we're now 1.8 seconds away from the car behind. So we are increasing that distance, to an extent, which is absolutely brilliant news. Coming through here as clean as possible and accelerating out the other side, sending it down this back straight. We are 0.2 seconds up on our lap time in this race, which is absolutely brilliant news. We're going to set a 50 point something. Can we get it into the 49s? That's what I'm hoping for. Really going to plow it down here, clipping that curb on the right hand side and accelerating out the corner. Can I get it into the 49s? Oh, we're going to. I think we will. That'll be a 49.914. Absolutely brilliant blazer in lap time speed. I'm quite proud of that. That's a good accomplishment right there. And wow, we gained a whole second to the car behind for that. They are now 2.9 seconds away from us right now as we come around through the S here. But P1 is also 8.3, so they are quicker every lap. This lap is not my best right now. I'm a little bit sloppy through here. It's actually costing me half a second of my best lap time right now, which is not good. That's about 7 or 8%, considering this is only a 50-second lap race. Like, you know, it's a substantial amount, and it's not good enough. And I have to improve upon that. Luckily enough, though, the car behind is not capitalizing on my sloppiness as we're coming down the straight. If anything, we're actually gaining on the car behind again. Braking a little bit late and a little bit too hard, locking up the front right-hand wheel, which again is costing us braking distance. There's a black car in front of us. That is unusual. Unless the P1 has changed colour of their car, I'm not sure. Oh, I could be lapping somebody, to be fair. I mean, they don't ghost until you get quite close up to them. Let me know down in the comments below, but does the ghost distract you whilst you're driving as well? I mean, sometimes it distracts me, and sometimes I pay no attention to it. But I do sometimes, like I say, get distracted by it, and it does massively upset my lap times. Let me know down in the comments below if you also get distracted by the ghost. And do you like having the ghost as you're overtaking them, or would you rather than be totally invisible? Anyway, coming down here, we're 1 second down off our best lap, which is just atrocious. I have no idea what happened when I came out of the pits, but I guess I forgot how to drive. I mean, the pressure is not on. P1 is now 10 seconds away, but P3 is catching up a little bit. They're 2.5 seconds away. We only have 4 more laps after this to go. Again, we're half a second down in this lap, so in total we've lost about 3 seconds just due to my poor driving. Yeah, that's not good enough. And yeah, right, this next lap, gonna suck it in and do better. Gonna come around this corner, 4th gear, could have gone a little bit quicker out there. We'll send it down the start and finish line. Looking out for the 400 meter board on the left hand side, start applying that braking pressure, and then down to 3rd gear, reducing that braking pressure as we come in, letting the car coast around just like that, flipping the curb on the right hand side, halfway around, there we go, start accelerating out. We're only 2 temps down right now. It's not too bad. I can find that towards the latter half of the track. In reality, I would prefer it to be pretty much on par with what I've got. There we go, we found a 10th already, which isn't too bad. Coming around here, yep, there was definitely a ghosted car. Now they're pretty much invisible. Coming around here, we've gained up our lap time back. Now we're starting to find our pace again. And there we go, we're up now. Okay. I don't know. It's just one of those days. Lucky enough, we're overtaking the McLaren. I expected that car to be a little bit quicker down the straight, to be fair. I guess the Porsche does have some throw in it, though. This Porsche is absolutely quick, and it is very slippy. If you look at the styling of the bodywork and that lot, is very slippery car, which is what you need through here right now, to be fair. Coming around this corner now, we're going to overtake another ghosty car, which is, yeah, wow. It's an 18 lap race. It was bound to happen, really, when cars start dropping back like that, and you do split up the pack quite somewhat. It's a very, very long race, this, and do you know what? I quite enjoyed it. You don't see Lime Rock come up all that often in the Touring Cars or GT series. I haven't seen it in a little while anyway, but it's quite nice to see it back again. I do quite enjoy this track. I know it's very short in itself, but I quite like it. It's very fast paced, and it's quite smooth, if you understand what I mean. It's you could just glide through it, you know, you don't have to stress too much about it, you know, it's just a pleasant drive, to be fair. Now we are on the start of lap 17. P1 is 13 seconds away and P3 is 2.7 seconds away, so they haven't gained anything upon us. I think really they're setting quite the same time as we are. We are 3 tenths down on this lap. Gonna come around this corner, 90 miles per hour, a little bit slow, could do it at 100. Up the hill we go, but as you can see the tyres are starting to wear, so I'm ultimately backing off a little bit now. More tyre saving and trying to position save as wow. What happened to P3? They are 4 seconds down now. They must have got off track a little bit again. That could only be the excuse I can think of. Well, we have a nice little window right now. Coming through here a little bit too slow. Making sure I get the corners right and not spinning the back end out. I'm not going to hammer it around this lap now. We do have our barrier that we need. It's more a case of making sure I stay on position. Wow, that was a lot of understeer. Anyway, sending it down here. Hitting that curb on the left hand side, hard on the brakes into 3rd gear, 100 miles per hour around this corner, send it up the hill, and away we go. Braking again into 3rd gear, clipping that curb on the right hand side, accelerating out the other, keeping as far left as you can, letting off the throttle, coasting it round, and then accelerating out the other side. And at the end of that race, we have P2 position. Absolute blast of a race. That car is an absolute gem to drive. It was really, really nice to drive. I cannot praise that car enough. I'd love to try the Ferraris out and see what they are like. I can't believe how well we've done. We've gone from P15 to P2 position. There's another car that drives just as well as this Porsche, but it's a very, very slow car. Click the video at the bottom left of your screen now to have a look at how well that race goes.